All right, welcome back to VOP this morning. And joining me right now in the studio is former Zonal Director, National Broadcasting Commission for Lagos, and currently Director Special Duties, Dr. Chibike Ogumike. Good morning to you. Good morning. Now, we welcome you to our studio. So now let's look at NBC and its activities so far in regulating the media. Now that you have been, this is a being director of special duties. It's a step higher.
Exactly.
So what do we expect going forward? We know how the regulation has been, especially with the talk of hate speech and issues related to it. To a point, it felt like the media was being gagged. What do you make of that impression?
Yes. First and foremost, thank you for giving me this opportunity to clear some of this wrong, or what I may call erroneous impression about National Broadcasting Commission. National Broadcasting Commission is set up by law to regulate and control the broadcasting houses, the broadcasting aspect of the media. And that, and when you look at the media in particular and broadcasting, you must believe with me that regulation is very important. Somebody must watch your back to tell you when you are doing the right thing and when you are doing the wrong thing. Our job is not to gag the media. In no time have we taken over the responsibility of censoring your programs. And that is not our job. Our job is regulation, and we have a standard way of regulating broadcasting. And when I mean a standard way, is that we have what we call the Nigerian Broadcasting Code, which sets out the do's and the don'ts in the broadcasting industry. And it's an industry document. It's not NBC document per se. It's an industry document created by the broadcaster themselves for them to regulate themselves. The aim is geared towards self-regulation. So that you know the right thing to do, so that you don't deviate. Because broadcasting is very sensitive. There's a way you air a program, and before you know it, you turn Lagos, you turn the country upside down.
Of course we have.
And that exactly is what the stakeholders in the broadcasting industry or world over doesn't want to have.
But in as much as nobody wants chaos, we also do know that Nigerians want to know exactly what is going on.
Exactly.
And, it is the job of broadcasters to tell Nigerians the truth.
Exactly.
To let Nigerians know exactly, not sugar-coated truth, but the truth. Now, in situations whereby the NBC clamps down on media houses for comments made by guests, isn't that an encroachment? Because the guests are, individuals who can make their own opinion. They are entitled to their own opinion. And then in the past administration, we saw sanctions being placed on media houses for things like comments made by guests sharing their own opinion in the bid to educate Nigerians. Why was that? Why was that? Because there was this impression that government had an influence in the activities of NBC.
Yeah, yeah. Let me correct that impression.
Please do.
And let me tell you that the essence of regulation is for the good of the people, not just the government. Government is a stakeholder in the broadcast industry. There are so many other stakeholders, and government is one of them. And in a situation that that you bring in a guest, he now make an inflammatory and inciting comment.
Based on what he knows to be true.
And maybe, that's maybe. You use the word maybe, and that may not likely be the truth. That means you are breaching the broadcasting code. And first and foremost, nobody is sanctioning the guest. Nobody is sanctioning the individual. Rather, you are being sanctioned. What is being sanctioned is the platform, because you, the station, have created that platform for that person to make such an inflammatory, unguided statement. And the broadcasting, like Edison, has its own language. The language must be decent. I can't come on air and start calling you that you are a thief, you are an armed robber, and all that without justifying evidence that you actually carry out that thing. So those are the things regulation is against. Nobody is gagging the media like you said. Like I said earlier on, you have your editorial responsibility. Nobody sells their program. Your program is guided by the ethics of the profession. And that ethics of the profession is enshrined in the Nigerian Broadcasting Code, and which spells out the do's and the don'ts. If you amend the code to tell me that people can come on air and say whatever thing they say, myself as a regulator, I will go ahead. But that will not be good for the good of our country, Nigeria. So that we should be able to know our needs and our wants, to separate two of them. Is the need of Nigeria, is it for people to use their platform to make unguided statements that can put all of us in one confusion or the other? The answer should be no.
All right, thank you very much. But we do know that in as much as media houses try to control what their guests say,
yes,
or what comes out of their own, that's the medium. Social media is a place where everyone has more or less freedom of expression and can go ahead and say the things that they want to say. So what you might be, preventing people from saying still gets heard from social media.
You see, there's been this issue between the social media and the mainstream media. As far as I'm concerned, there's no conflict.
Okay.
They are not competing. What we are saying in broadcasting is that if you must get information from the social media and you want to use it in the mainstream media, verify. Meaning that the social media have given you a tip. Go and investigate that information to know the authenticity of that information before carrying it on the mainstream media. Okay. And that should be the norm. And that should be the standard. And in doing that, you have not committed any offense. But you also bear with me that most of the information that you get from the social media is said to be false. So you, as a trained journalist, need to go further to investigate that information before bringing it on air.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Dr. Chibike Ogumike, for coming on VOP this morning.
Thank you very much.
All right, then we'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll go into business and then entertainment. Stay with us.